Hello, and welcome to What is Crypto? I am your host, Crypto Shaddy. In today's video, we'll be discussing what is gold fever, where does it come from, how does it work, what use cases does it have in real life, and what future does it have in the crypto space. This is not financial advice, so please do your due diligence on researching everything you put your money into. Gold Fever is a free-to-play MMO that focuses on PvP. It works on the basis of a play-to-earn concept, by building an economy around players that in turn gives them real crypto assets that can be used in the game or cashed out and on the cryptocurrency open market. Gold Fever is based on a jungle, tribal, Amazonian feel theme. There are two factions currently in the game, adventurers and tribespeople. The game premise is that the adventurers have come to discover and claim the riches of the land, but the tribespeople are there to stop them. This is where the PvP aspects of the game comes into play. By playing in the open world or in set matches, the adventurers can set up camps in pre-designated mining spots on the map to look for loot and then, if found, deposit it into the bank. The tribespeople can then attack them and try to steal the gold the adventurers are harvesting, and in turn return it to the river and their ancestral gods. There will be 6 different classes that the player can choose from. For the adventurers, there is the prospector, medic, or hunter, and for the tribespeople, there will be the sorcerer, forager, and warrior. Let's dive into this. First, we will cover the classes for the adventurers. The hunter. The hunter is an expert at long range that specializes in trapping, hunting, and tracking. They have the choice between guns and more stealthy bow and arrow approach. They can hunt wild game and use it for trading back in town, or to hunt down tribespeople. The prospector. Experts at finding gold and using excavating equipment, they can also carry heavier loads. They are the fastest moving class and have mediocre combat skills. The medic has low combat skills, but to make up for that, are experts at finding and using medicinal herbs to heal players. They have higher health and fast movement abilities. Now let's go over the tribal classes. The sorcerer has magical abilities to both heal and harm players. Like medics, they can use plants to heal injuries of other players. Unlike medics, they can also use plants to put poisons on weapons. They provide blessings to bolster allies' fighting abilities during combat. Typically, they use bows and knives, but are not combat savvy. Used more as a support class, they must be protected by other players. The forager, agile with movement and good at finding herbs and fruit. They can also carry heavy loads and are able to set up snares and make poisonous arrows to be used on game animals and adventurers. The warrior. Excellent in combat, the warrior can use a breadth of weapons, including but not limited to spears, swords, axes, daggers, bows, and arrows, as well as shields. They have the highest health of the tribal classes. Combat in Gold Fever will range from killing animals to killing other players. The best combatants for both factions are hunter and warrior. Any class can do combat, but these two excel in combat settings. Some of the in-game weapons include spears, axes, swords, daggers, shields, bows, and several firearms. Bow. Both the tribal and adventurers start off with a bow. Tribals can use custom poison, stun, and fire arrows, a great option for stealth kills. Knives. Knives are a big component of the combat, and in a pinch can be used to gather resources. Adventurers start off with 3 different knives. Tribals begin with a bone knife, which has stronger stats. Spears. Another of the starting weapons of the tribals, the spear is useful for both long range and close quarter combat. Although it has similar initial stats as the bow, it's a little faster to shoot. Guns. Lastly, we have firearms. Although there are shotguns and long rifles, adventurers begin with a plain revolver and the Tommy gun. The Tommy is good for fast close range and the revolver for slower long range combat. These are just some of the weapons being introduced into Gold Fever, and I expect many more down the pipeline once the game gets closer to being fully launched. The gameplay will have an open market mechanics that lean towards a lord and vassal economy. They remind me somewhat of the in-game economy of New World. You will be able to purchase NFTs for mining claims, obtain shops to sell goods to other players, build infrastructure, and traveling via planes, trains, and more. With the mining claims, players will be able to purchase these NFTs to obtain rights to excavate a designated area. In turn, they can create matches, 5 versus 5, 10 versus 10, and more, where they can allow players to enter for a fee or predetermined amount they reap from mining, and mine for the gold while being attacked by the tribespeople. The owner of the mining rights either reaps the entry fee or gets whatever percentage is left over from the players who found the gold after the predetermined cut. There's mining available in the open world, but to get the bigger gold incentive, you have to enter into these matches. The tribe's people are incentivized via trying to steal the gold from prospector players by killing them, but at a much smaller percentage as to balance the game for the work the prospector has to do. The PvP in the game will be random, as players die that have the possibility of losing their spot and new players can join. Just depends on who queues the fastest. This will deter those dreaded PvP games of pre-made groups wiping out everyone else. Hello, Temple of Katmagu in World of Warcraft Mists of Pandaria. Ugh. I believe this mechanic will also add the challenge of actually having to be good at combat to secure your position and not die, in turn giving more loot possibility. As with most MMOs, there will be experience and reputation. These can be earned via number of characters killed during fights, the quantity of gold saved, and completing quests are among some of the ways you can earn rep and experience. Reputation experience will also affect players' abilities such as fighting, moving, mining, and more. As far as questing goes, this is where it differs from other MMOs I've played. There is no linear go to NPC, pick up quests, do quests, get reward. Instead, the quests are more labeled by gameplay. One player farms for resources for the market, while another hunts for frogs to make poison darts. Questing is more doing things so you can gain better opportunities on the market or via enhancing farming for gold. The game will have 4 different kinds of tokens: NGL, JUL, non-fungible ERC 1155 tokens, and JBR. JUL. This is not a cryptocurrency. It'll be one of the currencies actually used in the game. Players will be able to purchase JUL via debit cards or in form of cryptocurrency, i.e. Bitcoin, to buy some items in the game. JUL can be used as such for obtaining access to arenas from mining rights owners, for in-game purchases, or to be used for options such as to pay for transportation fees to give access to planes, trains, for VIP access to very exclusive events in the game, and more. NGL. This is the game's main token and what players' gold will be converted into. Players can obtain NGL by mining in zones created by players who obtain mining rights. The player purchasing the mining rights will be told how much NGL is in the zone they are obtaining from the company, and then can quote-unquote hire other players to extract it, getting a percentage of it as explained in the gameplay section. This creates an ecosystem of where the company gets funds by selling the NFT mining rights, the person buying them gets in NGL from the players extracting the gold, and the players extracting the gold get their percentage for doing the work of going in and battling it out via PvP to obtain the buried gold, or NGL. NGL can be used as such for obtaining access to arenas from mining rights owners or special events, transferred to cryptocurrency wallets as a form of money in real life, getting paid by being an arena creator, shop owner, in-game service provider, guild owners, and other services which will all be paid with NGL, lending and renting items, and more. Check out their white paper for a full list. JBR. This is a governance ERC 20 token that is airdropped periodically to Gold Fever participants. This is given to players based on the involvement in the game by use of in-game tokens, rights acquired, reputation, pool liquidity providing, and more. JBR can be used as such. Voting power on in-game features and decisions. The players vote and decide on changes and the devs implement them. This is one of my favorite things about crypto. Everything is decentralized and autonomous in the sense of people always have the voice, including choosing where revenue of the company goes towards. And lastly, non-fungible ERC 1155 tokens. Each non-fungible token is uniquely identifiable, representing characters, artifacts, and other rare items in the game. These tokens and the items they describe can be borrowed, traded in-game, or potentially sold on external platforms. This means that each non-fungible token value can be different from any other NFT. So let's say you have a clothing item that has historical value in the game. Maybe it was streamed and seen by a ton of people and is now sought after. Now that item has accrued in value, and you can choose to trade it or sell it or rent it out to other players to borrow it for a fee. Any asset in the game can be portrayed as an NFT and thus gain value. ERC 1155 can be used as such, selling. For instance, in user-run shops or markets outside of the game. Leasing and renting, collateral for borrowing NGL, and ownership via ownership of the initial NFT items. Gold Fever is among the first to integrate an actual cryptocurrency into its gameplay. The significant advantage of NGL is that it creates an in-game economy interconnected with the outside world, as NGL can be taken out of the game and sold on cryptocurrency exchanges, giving it real value as an asset. Gold Fever has so many aspects I feel like I am barely scratching the surface, between weather conditions affecting your character, to being able to own pets and mounts, to being a merchant and owning your own shop or bank or bar or hotel or restaurant or stable, etc., to crafting a multitude of items. This game seems to have it all. The vibe I get from this game so far is a mix of the open world PvP-centric game like New World and the building up resources in 7 Days to Die for an end ultimate goal, in this case digging for gold. Right now the game is getting ready to be released on beta to allow select players to play the game and give feedback for the developers to fine-tune. The game currently looks pretty amazing considering it is an indie game, and the width of the scope they are trying to include in the gameplay. I am extremely excited for this game. As an avid player of MMOs for the last 16 years, including but not limited to World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, and New World, this is right up my alley. I believe it's a project to keep an eye on as it is in development, and if executed properly, could take a dominant space in the MMO sector of both the RPG and PvP spaces. Because, I mean, really, who doesn't like gaming and earning money? If you're interested in more videos on specific cryptocurrency projects, please like and subscribe. I am Crypto Shaddy. Thank you for watching.